Old business, our old friend district reconfiguration.
Just for the kick off the new school year, some of this will be shared tomorrow with staff at the back to school celebration, but kind of wanted to even wrap ourselves back up with the August 3rd retreat that we had with the administrative team. And so we'll have Nancy kind of help us navigate so we don't have to get up. Going to really hit tomorrow with the staff, this will be Friday. We are going through change. A lot of it's very positive, and we are making progress, and a lot of this is rooted in our CSIP plan. Okay. And remind that this is the foundation that everything we do is built upon. The reconfiguration hits several of those things that I just showed in the previous slide. Okay. Timeline, we're moving that yellow arrow over to the right, and but I don't think there is a finish line, because as soon as we're done or close to being done there, we're on to the next thing to continue to propel this district forward. So one
I'm sorry.
so you're dictating the pace. I see. No, I was just getting ready to say, go ahead. Again, we're just, you can really well. Making sure we're continuing to move forward. I'm not a huge quote person, but I felt compelled to do so for tomorrow because we found a few. So there we go.
Like that.
Yeah. And I thought we'd kind of go through each of the teams, give updates, and of course all members of the board participated on one of these 4 teams, and we'll kind of let Mr. Hinshaw give an update on what's happened with construction.
The construction plan, the 27,000 square foot addition. We're going to have 11 new classrooms, 3 renovated rooms, and a wrestling practice area, and a main office are included, and that's the 3D diagram. That corner, the entrance is would be setting on the southwest corner of the addition. This is just the site plan. As you can tell, the current circle driveway, it would be to your left on this slide. Cedar Street is on the left side, and 7th is to the bottom. So this is a site plan for the addition. It goes on the west side of the current high school. This is the floor plan. We won't spend much time here. You all have seen this, but it's a layout. One of the unique features in this plan, I think, is the lecture room that combines with an area for students to work in groups, as well as set up, designed to be a lecture hall as well for community groups, which is an exciting opportunity there. It'll seat about 80 people.
Have a board meeting there when it's done.
Just a few pictures here. This is the annex. If you recall, this is spring break, just as they started to demo it. We'll just move through these fairly quickly. This is that annex coming down. Had to make way for the new building. And that was 1 week. Doesn't take long to take a building down. Takes 12 months to build one. So go ahead. Thank you. Just some pictures here. A lot of underground work that people can't see. They don't know that it's going on. You know, they see something going on, but we have great cooperation with RMU. They put in new lines underground. We got rid of the overhead lines on the parking lot, those kind of things, which RMU helped with installation of all that. It was a joint effort. We'll have a new transformer installed to carry more power to this wing, and also for future additions if there are any. Just go ahead, Nancy. Just another site picture. We did get some of the floor we poured in the last week and a half in between the rain showers, which was good. Everything didn't get rained on, so that was excellent. And we're currently laying block and started setting steel this week. It's just a little history lesson here for our staff tomorrow. This is the area that is right across the street from First Baptist Church. So anybody got an answer for that question? Jamie?
If we give the answer, they're all watching tonight.
I'm sure they are.
They're all.
Okay.
All right.
We
Somebody-
referred
they'll get-
to
All right.
We referred to it in my era as the old administration
Administration
building.
building.
But it
What's
was
funny
actually
is
a high
it's,
school
yeah,
at one time.
right, it was the high school.
Rolla
So
High School.
if you'll click Nancy once there, Rolla High School located on Cedar Street. This is the foundation that we uncovered. And I guess in 1979, when they buried this, the habit was just to push things in and then cover them up. So we've discovered a few things that we wouldn't want to build a parking lot on, so we're removing those.
That was a gravel parking lot when I was in high school.
It was constructed in 1915. Go ahead. It was I think the 5th location for Rolla High School. The South Addition was added to the building in 1926, and it included an auditorium. So things come around.
At an auditorium.
All
saw
right,
a
and
play
that's a
Yeah.
picture of the building there.
That's it.
So
Wow.
north and south, north and is to the left, and then the South Addition was added, and that's where the auditorium was. According to Linda, it was on the 2nd floor, and driver's ed was on the 3rd floor. So.
I saw You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, directed by John Woodfin in that building.
There you go.
I was a junior high student.
Right, so, anyway, go ahead. And this one, this is just one more picture here. This is for all of us to think about a little bit. On the left side, you'll notice there's the hole on the left, that picture on the left. You see where the hole is at the bottom, and then the trench. That's a sewer line that's going in, the new sewer line. And what I realized when I took that picture is then I walked over and there was a man in the hole. So if you'll click the button one more time, sorry. Ask yourself, am I really having that bad a day? This gentleman is hooking the new sewer line to the old sewer line. So we appreciate all the efforts of everybody that's involved in this, and
Did they have
hopefully,
the roof tied on too?
Nicely color coded.
all right, thank you. And that's it.
So,
Next slide.
that's a view from Cedar.
Right.
Any questions? We don't have any change orders for tonight, so.
Good.
And that's not going to be ready next week.
Yeah, they
Yeah, we're not
started
gonna be
setting
ready
steels.
for this
Oh,
school year?
Remember, it opens in 2017.
17. Okay.
Yeah, there's just even last week, after our meeting that we had on August 3rd, I had a local person was taking some directors of various programs in town, went by the high school, and one of them asked, this is gonna be funny to you, but inside joke, one of them asked, what are they doing there? And the guy driving the car, unprompted, he said, "Are you serious?"
We need T-shirts. We definitely need T-shirts.
So you can't overestimate or underestimate the need to communicate, and overestimate that people really know what's going on. And if you don't drive by there,
Right.
you won't know what's happening or why it's happening. And you'll assume that we'll be ready by the 17th at the start of school, which be August of 17. So with our transitions group, Jamie and Jane are on that committee too. We kind of got together and we're kind of moving away, not entirely, but somewhat away from the teacher transition and more into the parent and student transition, and particularly parent communications with students that are at 4th grade going to be coming into middle school because of the new building. I took someone through the building today that's never been in it before, and they were kind of amazed at how big it is in terms of just how it doesn't feel big to us because we're used to it. So, but still maintaining the periodic meetings with the staff that are at 4th, 7th, and 9th grade to make sure that they are aware as we move forward, you know, where their classes are going to be, and take their input as we build schedules. I would tell you now that the mock schedules that we put together for last year to kind of identify where we might shift people that we did a lot this past year are now going to move to the real schedule. So the course description book will come to you a little bit early so that students are scheduled a little bit early so we can identify where the holes in the staffing are. We've made some staffing moves even as recent as last week that will help us with that. But that'll continue to happen, and we'll bring that before you. So communicating inside out was last year and continuing to do that, but picking up what we're doing with the parents and the students at those grade level breakpoints are kind of what we're going to focus on. Things like we had a conversation today about playground equipment at the middle school, so we've got the resources available. We just need to put a plan together and and sit down with Dr. Davis and make sure we'll be before you as well. So that was probably the number one question that came from elementary parents coming over is the playground equipment, but it's important, and so we have a plan headed that way. So, any questions about transitions? It's exciting. It's now moving to the real thing. So as soon as we get school started, we're planning for next year. The activities, Tony, you're on that committee, and you know, kind of the same thing we've talked about in meetings before, and I won't make you take the lead on this, but if you feel comfortable, you can.
More than anything, it's not a lot of activity yet, and then into the next hiring season is when we're gonna really have to start looking at the new coaches coming in and so forth. I know there, a lot of planning already underway on uniforms, equipment that needs to be done, practice schedules, buildings, a lot of logistics to work out that probably aren't obvious if you haven't been thinking it through in detail.
Yeah, the things behind the scenes that Kathy's been here, you know, during the summer, but those are continuing to move forward. And as Tony said, at this time next year, all those coaches will be in place, and we'll be approving in addition to this salary schedule for the coach and staff that mirrors what we're doing at 8th grade currently. So very exciting. The conference schools are very, very excited about us coming on board with 7th grade activities. It'll be much more efficient for us, and as we've shared with you, Joplin is coming out of the conference. We'll be gaining another Springfield school, so that'll even cut down some of the travel, which will help us quite a bit.
Be late night,
Yeah.
a lot of those trips to Joplin.
Good. Greg?
The Early Childhood Committee met. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Laura Brown with us, the district's new director of early childhood. She was away at Parents as Teachers training. But at the meeting, we laid out the next few steps that we would like to accomplish this fall, of which, you know, that we talked about clearly defining the screening and selection process to select kids for the program. As we talked through that, we also saw the need to build a timeline, with the furthest date kind of starting there is the time that we would notify parents of selection into the program, and from that point working back through. So I met with Laura on Monday, and she brought me down to her office today to share what she had done. And so what she had shared was a first draft to a selection and screening process that we spent a lot of time talking through, and she did a lot of good work on it, so we're continuing to revise it. She had a first draft of a timeline, just like we had looked at. I believe she has already set the dates at Green Tree Church for the early childhood screening process, which will be in February. So the date that we're looking for is February 7th and 8th. We'll do the screening, and from there we'll identify the kids that are in the program. So she's got a lot going on. She's working really hard at it. She's mixing her duties in the early childhood program along with as director of PAT. So that's getting kicked up this year. So we have things moving. We also talked about she's identified some schools to go visit. We've narrowed our curriculum down to 2 choices that we're reviewing now. We will review again, and she's going to go visit some schools using those curriculums, and had contacted DESE. So a lot of activity, and Laura's hit the ground running here in August, and a lot of good things going on. So we will certainly come to you as we finish those things and make sure we share those, get some input from you guys to see if it kind of hits the vision that we have for our early childhood program.
When do you expect the screening to be finalized, or when you have an idea of what it is you're looking
Oh,
for?
I would say
February you're going to enroll?
a couple weeks.
screening?
I mean, a couple weeks. We finished the year last year from our early childhood committee with a really good discussion of what we're trying to accomplish. So Greg and Charlotte were part of that committee. So right now our screening process is kind of a weighted rubric, taking into account different scores that kids can earn on the dial assessment, and we've weighted them. What we played around with is the wrong term, but what we looked at today was a different weighting system for those factors that we think are most important to identify kids that are in most need academically to be in our program. Also within that rubric, we've worked in the consideration of some of the parents as teachers' high needs variables to identify that as part of the selection and screening process as well. So Laura's sharing with me the kid side of, these are the things that I'm important, and I'm sharing with her, okay, we can put that into this mathematical formula in this rubric, and we can treat it like this, and we can factor this in at this way, and we can get an overall score. So that's kind of what we're playing with now to make sure that the model that we worked up, if we put live data in, we want to see that it works like we think it will. And then we'll bring that to you and get your input on it.
Interesting.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, I think a big piece of this still is if we figure out what it is we're looking for and how we're gonna screen them and all that, but then how do we actually recruit those kids?
How do we get
Well,
those
and
kids?
and she has lots of ideas. One new idea that she had today, and I think Charlotte kind of put this bug in her ear, is some of the community outreach that goes on in some of the food banks. Laura has volunteered to go work some of those, and while she's there, hand out lots of literature about the program to make sure we're reaching those families. So that is a prime concern to her, and that's something we'll do throughout the fall. Is I forgot one of the things we talked about in our committee is both an education and an outreach initiative. One is making sure people understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish and what it will look like, and then, as you mentioned, the outreach to make sure that we're getting our information out to the parents that certainly might be interested in the program.
Yeah. And we might wanna get some help with that from
Sure.
other agencies and so forth.
Great.
Good deal.
We're good.
And tomorrow, will be Friday. If you're watching this some other time, it's actually the 12th of August. This is kind of our outline for the presentation, back-to-school celebration tomorrow. So we heard a little discussion about Shelby Ply. She actually is going to perform the creed for the staff tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Because we tried to feature a state champion last year. We featured James Cosbar, so a lot of folks won't have the opportunity to see talent from some other program that makes the district what it is. It's not all one specific area. So that really the theme for this year is about change, progress, and excellence. That we've got a lot of change coming from several different directions, but it's also our district is fundamentally changing how we deliver our services to children, particularly next year. So, and you see down under Bulldog Pride, the little alumni spotlight, we've identified someone in the community that's of the vintage that their kids are just getting ready to start school, and so they were an alumni and now have a real appreciation for what teachers will mean to them as a parent of a future Bulldog. So very excited about it. Pulled a lot of people in, and we fret about that, but 8:30 on the 12th is when we kick it all off. So.